There are times when music is meant to be nothing but soothing. There are others, though, when it's time to be loud and fun, and on this week's episode of the podcast, I'm here to introduce you to the latter. Join me, Zach Walsh, as I talk to Jacob, Lucas, Susie, Amani, Sean, and David about their band, Spring Colors. This noise pop band from Toronto, Ontario has a lot of heart and puts their core in creating something I think is truly special. While this episode may be running a little bit differently than others, it's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll stick around to the end to catch some of their music. Welcome to Scheduled for Launch, a podcast to discover the projects that you may have missed. This week, I'm here doing something really different than what we usually get, which is tabletop role-playing game shit, and I'm talking to a band. It's been far too long, but there's 6 of you here?
Yep.
They're nodding. Hi, Spring Colors. Welcome to Scheduled for Launch.
Hi.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
We're sorting out some logistical stuff, as we always are.
We do have 6 people, but we are using 2 microphones. Cotton
Hell
toss.
So it can only go well. We'll see.
It's going to go fine. We're going to have fun.
We're also recruiting. If anyone out there wants to join the band, we have a lot more spots and a lot more space on stage for everybody. So just DM us.
Yeah, we're indie rock Slipknot. The new requirement, though, is you need a full license and ideally a car. Because there's a lot of us, but we're city kids, so not a lot of drivers in the band.
What are the openings for?
Driver. Oh, no. Sorry, no, not driver.
You need a roadie. I get it.
Yeah. If you can play any form of a synthesizer, the merrier. Or second bass, I think, would work too. But
A second shouter. Second shouter. That would be fun. Just 2 people screaming at each other. No lyrics, just arguing on stage.
Arguing on stage.
Yeah.
what's the guy that has on TikTok that has the electronic woodwind instrument for the frog songs?
Oh,
if you
frog
have
type
that
beat.
instrument, you're automatically in.
Yeah. We've been on a frog type wave recently.
It would also be cool to get like a contemporary dancer who like doesn't have choreography. They just dance according to how they feel to our music as we play.
So like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, they had that.
Really?
Yeah, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones had a dancer in the band.
I once saw a band that had a contemporary painter. They just brought in. This girl came in with a bunch of oil paint and a big piece of cardboard that she found outside and just painted in front of the whole set.
Was it also the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
No, it was like they were like a jazz. 6 people, and I think plus her made 7. So,
Oh boy. 6 people and a painter. I've never heard of that. Y'all want to introduce yourselves, though?
I don't think she was, but I'm Lucas.
What do you do?
Oh, what do I do? Oh,
Yeah.
I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Sean. I play bass and I sing when I'm allowed to.
I'm Jacob. I play guitar. I sing. Sometimes synths, but not really anymore.
I'm Susie. I play percussion and I sing also.
My name is David. I yell, and I occasionally get to work on my tight 5.
My name is Amani and I play synths and I sing sometimes also.
I like how all of you sing.
Yeah, we should have really taken out the singing part.
No, I think it's important.
I think it's
After, like, the
important for
third
Spring
time.
Colors, actually. You guys got layers. I've been listening to you all, I think pre-COVID is when I started listening to Spring Colors. I wanted to show some support to David. I know that I had a very brief conversation with Lucas about his solo stuff. Or we followed each other with the intention of setting something up, and then it never
And
happened.
I think we just forgot.
I listened to your stuff. I was like, I
thank
like
you.
this. I got to talk to him.
I think it would have been around 2021, so things were reopening again, and then everyone was like, "Fuck it, let's get outside."
Yeah.
We're done with being indoors.
All these podcasts that just popped up are dying.
Yeah, we started. I don't know. I feel like I came on a little later, but we got our first project out in March 2020, and we know that was a great month and also year for the world.
For live music.
Yeah, and then we were really excited to play, and then all of that stuff happened. But we started playing together with some added additions with Sean and Amani this year. We played our first show in the summer, and it's been really cool. It's been a blast. I don't think we have any other shows planned until the new year. We're doing like the Bon Iver, Kanye West, like enter a cabin for a few months and start writing. But yeah, that's our blurb.
Sorry, what happened in 2020 again?
The whole global pandemic.
Right. That. Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Not nice.
No, it wasn't nice. Yeah, very much so. It was a bad time. But I do want to ask, how is playing live?
I feel like if this depends on who you ask, because I show up on the drum kit that we stole in high school, and 9 times out of 10 the other band brings the kit, so I come with the breakables, and it's fun for me, but I might flip it to Lucas because he might have a different opinion.
Yeah, I think as you can tell by the number of us, there's a ton of logistical nightmares getting into just playing, specifically on like the synth side, because Amani plays synths. The key letter there is the second S in synths, of not just like one synthesizer that she like changes presets on, but I think we have like 3 to 4 depending on the show. And so I think like playing live was obviously really fun every time to actually just like play and connect with people like that. But I think we finally started finding our groove. Perfect time for when we then decide to instead write again. But we started finding our groove, just at least tech-wise, of how to make it all sound good and feel confident with what we're hearing and what we're playing. And so, I don't know, I think overall it was just good. I was expecting way rougher of a start than what it actually was.
This, I feel like I need to preface with, I do the least amount of things live, but I'm having the fucking time of my life. I get to show up, I get to yell, and I feel people can correct me if they feel differently. And maybe the most comfortable with like public speaking in front of crowds. So I basically just get to do crowd work and be silly for
But
like
I think
30
having
minutes
the
at a time.
least to do could be the hardest thing to do a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you got to like know how to move your hands. I'm holding a bass, so like I am like preoccupied. But you need to like, dance, I guess. Or
Yeah.
Team the masses.
after you've fallen down.
David's a
Yeah,
hand
sometimes I
talker,
fall
so
down.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think especially like it's very fun for me and I enjoy it, but we could definitely fall in the category to like say our like family members or friends who listen to our music of like, it's nice music, I just don't get all the yelling, and the yelling is me, so that's like a really fun.
Yeah, I think on the family and friends front, a lot of people like they would start hearing a song and it's just like chiptune synths, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is like a nice, fun indie thing," and then David starts screaming over top of it, and I think people get confused on where we land. But I think we have fun with it, so
Definitely.
I think it's its own vibe in the end, and we're down with it.
I think another really important thing as well about the live performances is that like we've been playing music together since 2010, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the 3 of us at least, me, David, and Lucas. And we were doing shows like in 2015, 2016 under a different name. We had a different band before that as well altogether. So we've been doing this for a really, really long time. So I think when, people come to our shows and like last show, we told them it was our 3rd show ever as a band. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? And it's like, that's not true, right? Because like we've been playing together for so long. And I think we've really gotten to know each other really well, especially with just our kind of like, little personalities and like the way that we like to perform on stage. Like, I think everyone has a really clear defined role that they're comfortable with, which I think works really well.
Well said.
Yeah, that was really well said. We're talking about tone of Spring Colors and kind of this mix and then David yelling. You've defined yourself as, I believe, noise pop, right? So for our less maybe accustomed to different genres, do you want to just give a rough idea on what that is?
Yeah, I think it's just like I think we mostly go with like indie noise pop. And what that is just like imagine your regular schmegular indie band that likes to just be loud and just extra loud on top of it. I think song form wise it's pretty basic songs. We're not writing like 10-minute post rock or ambient things. We're not getting
anymore.
into that front. Pop, mostly I would say pop on the side of just like short fun tunes that you can have a good time to, and then just noisy on there. Like we like synths, we like found sounds, and we like to incorporate all those different I mean, I won't speak for all of us. At least I like to incorporate all those different tones and textures into our music, just because I feel like there's a lot there that gets not used. I think it's being appreciated more now with things like hyperpop on the rise too.
Oh yeah.
But imagine a subset of that.
And then imagine the lyrics are impossible for your fans to ever sing back to you at a show. That's what Spring Colors is.
Is that because there's 6 people singing at you?
That's a factor. I think there's also like a really, I'd say like fun internal, I wouldn't say divide. I think it's like the writing process is really collaborative. Like we all like as a collective enjoy a lot of like similar tastes in like indie rock and I would say like punk music. But then there's some of us who like a lot of like harsher sounding music and noise, and other people who like really like strong choruses. So half the band's like, hey, what if we sung here? And then the other half of the band's like, what if we had a noise board take up a mic spot instead? And that kind of very contributes to, I think, both like live and recording. Recording's a lot easier to pull off like that mixture because you have all the time and space in the world. And then live is like, cool, we're playing like spaces that can fit 100 people in it, and they maybe have like 3 microphones normally. So like, what do you do?
And I think like Lucas said, like he said we don't write, large math rock parts or like ambient parts, but we have those parts in our songs, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes this question so difficult to answer, because people ask it all the time. They're like, oh, what kind of music do you make, right? And we're like, noisy kind, and also kind of nice kind, and also kind of singing kind, right?
I just say alternative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many elements that I think represent each member, because everyone brings their own taste to the songwriting as well, that like you'll find those pop punk shout choruses, you'll find those math bits, you'll find those ambient parts, like it's all in there, right? It's all kind of mashed up into this weird kind of almost unnameable genre, even though we can go with noise pop, I guess. But yeah, it's hard to define, at least for me. Like it feels like there is a lot of different elements that all of us bring to the table, I think.
Yeah.
Given the timeline in which we wrote songs too, I think it makes it quite difficult right now to define ourselves genre-wise, because like we do have the math rock stuff, we do have this and that, but a lot of the songs are what we wrote 3-4 years ago. Half our set is
ago.
Yeah, 3+ years ago, and then half are from this past year. And I think you can see there's like, or you can hear that difference between each of the 2 EPs. And I think as we were to keep going and writing more and more together, as the process becomes more and more collaborative, that sound would kind of streamline and morph into something I feel finally more concise that we can describe.
I was going to bring that up because the first EP is a little bit looser, and Loom is so much more unified, but it has a very different sound to it. You're talking about having these like really nice sounds and just different elements. That comes through a lot to me, at least in It'll All End In. Like that first album's so strong to defining the sound that y'all have right now.
Oh, thank you. That's my favorite song, and that's the one we actually wrote all together. Like, it was just kind of a synth line at the beginning that I got off like, I think a B-side Health Points thing. Played it for them, and then we thought of a structure, started playing on top of it, and kind of like came together with the song. and it honestly feels the most like us.
It's a shame that it's only like a minute and a half long.
It's a shame that your first Loom is only about 8 minutes.
I know.
I fucking
Hell yeah,
love
brother.
it.
We're like, tune into the album and it's like 7 minutes of music. We're never going to get rich off the Spotify streams at this rate.
Oh, and they just bumped it up too.
But it's always the issue with filling up set times too. Most recently, this was pretty crazy. We had a 45-minute set time, which was wild
Oh, no.
for us because typically, I know, yeah, wild, but also oh no. But usually we get everything in with like a fun cover. We like switch up the cover every time in like a half hour. But in 2024, watch out. We come out of the wilderness in the spring and we'll have like 20 songs. That's how I envision the writing process to go. It's going to be that easy.
I'm gonna come out and say it. Songs are too long. Show me a 5-minute long song that needs to be 5 minutes. Show me. I challenge every songwriter out there. That's old.
Go through the list.
Show
of
me a
all
new
the songs
song.
that you sent me, Dave.
It's kind of true. You could just play a 1-minute song 5 times or 20 times, you know? I think that's what. Yeah.
I think if you did like the one that you start the set with at the end of the set list, like people wouldn't notice. We talk about this all the time, like Adam and I with 100 Knives. Like if you were to do your opener at the end of the set to like your friends and family or the local crowd, I think you could get away with it.
We always get people that are so kind to do the one more song after the set. It's like, we don't have any more songs. Like, I really wish, I want to play the Cure cover that we've recycled. But yeah, it's in 2024, I think we'll have a larger repertoire. And then I'm really looking forward to switching up the songs between shows and keeping things fun.
There's stuff in the tank.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that actually, because this is still kind of a new and upcoming thing for y'all. This is not your full-time job at the moment. Spring Colors, I mean. So let's talk about writing, getting more, and like what a typical, no, we're not going to say typical, what a writing process can look like, because I feel like it's insane.
Oh, I'm starting again? I think the way the song ends up sounding, there's so many factors along the way. I think it's a very delicate process. In doing something for a song at one point in time can change its course completely. As of right now, I think there's two particular ways we end up writing songs or start them off. One's on Guitar Pro, of just sending each other files, and that's just mostly the guitar parts and drums and bass with the structure sent out.
Yeah.
And that kind of gives us like a good structured song that's that we know will sound good and we can add on to. And it's pretty much ready to go right when we start. But sometimes can be a little confined because writing something on the computer is not the same as the other version, which is like just starting with a synth sound a lot of the time and building off a texture from there and building more from feel. So those songs become harder to put together, but eventually can lead to just an interesting process and an interesting song structure. I think, for an example, Ellipsis or It'll All End In is just built off a synth tone and just built out from there, while Thank You and Spring Colors Type Beat both kind of come from pre-written Guitar Pro. And so you see in those songs, it's kind of like, actually, maybe not really. I was going to say verse, chorus, but they're a little fucked in themselves. But, yeah, and I think those, but yeah, so those are the two main ways I think we go about writing songs. And then from there, it's pretty much, we don't really jam things out too much, I don't think. A lot of it is David and I will have an idea, kind of work on the general architecture of the song and let people come in from there and add their parts. We also have only ever really written through recording. As you can see behind us, this is where we do a lot of our recording and rehearsing.
Yeah.
So because we have so much access to recording gear right off the bat, right away, we can spend so much time and just come back to ideas whenever we really want. And we're never really pressed for time. I lost my train of thought, and now I feel like I'm rambling.
I have just a really funny side note on the writing ideas, because I think it was like once we were playing like video games. It was like you, me, and Jacob, and we were talking about how we both submit ideas. Whereas like I'm very much like I send out like a structure of a thing, and then whatever people want to do with it is theirs. Like I don't feel like a weird ownership of like no, Susie, the drums need to sound like this. Like no, absolutely not. I think I write down what makes sense in my head, knowing that people will contribute their own ideas and their own parts, and that's what makes it like a band song versus like one person submitting ideas. But I feel less so now, but definitely when we were doing stuff for like the second EP or stuff that will hopefully get released in like 2024, I was like my A+ stuff that like isn't very abrasive are like Spring Color songs. Like anything I write that is like punk or indie is A+. And then Lucas just goes, yeah, sometimes it's just like the stuff I got left over, or like not left over, but he's just like, I'm just fucking around and this. But I think like his ideas of like fucking around, like he said, ellipses are like very smart and very intricate and are like textural things that like I can't do. Like I need to write on like a guitar or a bass or a drum or like traditional instruments. But I think like other people in this band can like pull from like synths and sounds, and like that's really fucking cool and like adds like a cooler collab.
I think our like final thing too is that in either way we write, we like a slow, consistent process of just hammering out parts. And at least for me, going back and reviewing songs to see if we can always consistently do something better. I know that extends the recording process and sometimes makes us spend way too long on something than we should, but I think I like details in music, little things that you can pick up on that don't need to be there but add something for the people who catch them. Like there are definitely callbacks or like references to some of our songs in other songs quite often, both through lyrics and in thing. And I think, I don't know, we all kind of, or at least I do, I think David does too, spend our time slowly crafting out a piece and taking the time until it's fully done, despite where we start from.
I think I can offer some insight on this too, because a lot of EP1 was me and Lucas in this room, like just recording unfinished songs. Like we were just building and adding, and it was like, what if we put a synth here? What if we put a synth there? And it was such a interesting creative process that we hadn't really done before, that I really enjoyed. And I think kind of maybe created some of the chaos that you were describing in the first EP. Whereas with EP2, I feel like we were really focused on getting the songs finished first. Like we were really focused on like, what does this song need? Where can we fill in? Where can we make sure that like everything is being covered tonally, that kind of thing. And then just for me personally, like I try to use Guitar Pro. I'm not very good at like writing and that kind of thing. My input usually comes with like listening to what Lucas has down or like something like that, and just like riffing off of that, you know, just in the moment, kind of feeling it out. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but
yeah, I think like David had mentioned earlier that we're not really a jammy band, but in terms of like the drum parts for me, like it's always been a bit more of a free thinking kind of thing. Well, I don't know if I want to call myself a free thinker, but like
This is the podcast.
yeah, this is it. This is it. I need a cigarette. I feel like in the times that like I have sat down in this room to write drum parts or come up with something, it's kind of just been like, okay, let's put what we have on, and then you can just riff to it. Oftentimes, like Lucas will have something in Guitar Pro that I can like listen to, use it as a bass line. I start there, and then I obviously have the liberty to switch it however way I like. And from my perspective, it's always like a collaborative experience. Like, play something, how does that sound? We can put something here, we can add something there. So yeah, I enjoy kind of the free flow moments.
I've never written a music ever. I wasn't actually in the band when they wrote or recorded any either of the EPs. I just joined this summer.
Really?
Yeah. So everything that's on the recordings is them, and I'm the newest addition to the band. I'm looking forward to being involved in this. Like, I was in a couple of bands before this, and I would always kind of like skirt around having to help write, because I just find it like I don't quite really understand where you even start. Like, it just baffles me. But I think doing it with 5 other people will be a little bit more approachable. So that'll be fun. I'm also really, really hoping to like sneak a couple bathroom jokes into a couple songs.
That's on the record.
I don't think anyone really likes that, given everyone's reaction to it just now. So maybe I won't. Maybe that's a 2025 EP.
So, Amani, what was it like when 5 people were like, "Hey, join our band"? Or was there just like
It's
a
actually
casting call?
It's kind of funny, like, because like the four of you have been in bands together, known each other since like high school, and then I work at the same office as Sean. I'm a freelancer there. We work at a toy company, and I actually never really knew Sean or like talked to him.
I think we sat at the same lunch table like 2 days earlier, and I was like, okay, we're friends now. So.
Yeah, like Sean's team moved over to where the team I usually work with all sit. And then, we like ate lunch together with a couple other people like once. And then another day he was walking by and he's like, "Hey, Amani, this other guy at the office said that you used to play keys in a band." And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Cool. Do you want to join my band? Like, we're really cool." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And then that's pretty much how that happened.
I was actually astounded that it was that easy as well. I was like, she's gonna back out. She just said yes to be nice.
And it's been really fun getting to know everybody and like learning a lot from everyone as well. And I'm excited to learn the writing process. That'll be fun.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That is such a band story, though. I was in one when I was younger, and that's basically what happened. It was just, "Oh, you have a bass guitar? You don't know how to play it that well. All right, come on."
Yeah, I think that was my drum origin story as well, because I started out as a pianist. Like, I have classical piano training. So I figured that because they're both percussion instruments, like drums and piano. I started out in stage band. So I went from like smashing a kick drum with like a mallet, with like my high school band playing like the Mission Impossible theme, to talking. I think it was you, Dave, right? You were kind of the catalyst as to how I joined. Yeah. I met Dave at a Model United Nations conference in grade 9. Yeah, it's a very, very niche origin story, and the rest is history, as they say. So I've been here for a long time, but Sean is also still relatively new, and you've been with us for like almost like over a year now.
Like a year and a half, yeah. So I was like, I think you guys had 2 of the songs off the new EP pretty much done, and David had written some bass lines, and I was able to, like we were saying, like just kind of play through it and rehearse some of what David had played, and I added a couple little things, but what David had was awesome. So I kind of just got to pretend that I wrote it, which was kind of cool. And then and then on Ellipsis, when Lucas brought in that synth line, we kind of all wrote that together, and we actually kind of banged that out really quick. And it was really cool to have a chance to write with everybody, and it was nice to see that it all gelled. So like Amani said, I'm really excited to actually like all properly get together and write for the next couple songs that we're doing.
Sean was.
Go ahead. Sorry, Lucas. Just before we go any further, I'm so glad that these guys joined, because like they bring such a different energy and dynamic to us. Because I think like with the 4 of us, like we've been playing music together for so long that like I don't want to say we stagnated, but we definitely like kind of fell into a groove, and these guys brought us out of it. Like they bring such good energy and like such fun as well to practices that I think makes us take, at least I take myself a little bit less seriously in this whole endeavor, and I'm just so grateful for that. So thank you guys.
I was gonna say Sean doesn't give himself enough credit. He was here for a lot of the recording and writing process. Everything post from Ellipses onward, the whole recording process, he was around. From Susie recording drums and him sleeping on the couch to him recording bass
Someone had to do it.
and me sleeping on the couch.
So obviously recording is a huge monster in and of itself. Any particularly really solid stories about other band members that comes up from this whole process? Or is it like as chill as this? Wow, the speed at some of those hands going up.
I mean, I, for both EPs, was around for the writing process of them. And then I did this really fun thing as a band member where I'd move across the country every like 6 months. Which was usually around the time of recording. So I usually just came in at the recording vocal ideas. And I think because of like Guitar Pro, and I also have like recording software on my laptop, so I was able to like demo stuff back and forth. But like the recording process is usually really vibey and goofy. Like I think, as Jacob was saying, like with Amani and Sean joining, it's become a lot more relaxed. And I think as we've grown as like musicians, like there's obviously like a phase both live and recording where you feel the need to be like so self-serious or do this persona. But at our core, we're really silly people. Like our in between practicing, we show each other our like likes and shares on like TikTok and Instagram. It's brain rot time. And I think like as the band especially has gone into like performing live, it's become sillier and a lot more relaxed. And I think that in recording, that's kind of when it started. And I'm very interested to see like when we record with all 6 of us, I think it's going to be like very relaxed and very silly. And I think there's also just like a really good baseline of like respect, right? Like I think our sound is just like, oh, like I don't want to be like keeping the person like, oh, our sound's like really out there, but it's a little strange like compared to like your typical indie band. But I think because of that, there's like no confines. Like when we started, the one thing was like as long as like people like the people in the band vibe with it, like we do it.
Just in terms of like recording with individual members, we recorded most of it here, all the guitars and everything here, but we booked some studio time in the city to record drums. So that's where Lucas and we showed up and we carried the breakables in and stuff like that, and then played 8-ball pool and napped on the sofas and stuff like that. I just wanted to see what a studio was like because I had never had any experience of that kind of thing. But I mean, I feel like the pressure was on for Susie the most on that drum recording session, and she absolutely killed it. It was funny, like we couldn't always hear the tracks and we would just hear what Susie was playing and she'd be like, it wasn't good, do it again, we're doing it again. And like I thought the drums turned out so amazing. So I think the temperature was definitely higher for Susie, but she came through. Whereas here, like everyone's saying, we can be goofy, we can screw up and do it again. But yeah, I think that day was really cool for me to see in the studio there.
Yeah, shout out to Greg Gergson. Greg Gergson. He's our recording guy.
Geisbrecht.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Gerg
No.
his Instagram.
Sorry. Shout out to @Gergston. Gergson. Oh God. We love Greg. He helped us out massively for the drum recording, and I think the last round where I went into the studio to record Loom, I felt a lot more at ease, and I think this is a universal feeling that musicians have where they're just hypercritical of the stuff that they put out. Like for my drums, like if I don't know, hit something in a different place, or like I hit a rim, or like the hi-hat texture doesn't feel good, I hear it like immediately, as I'm sure like Sean, who plays bass, like I don't know, if he fretted something weird, like he would pick up on it a lot faster than I would. So but all in all, like that process was really fun. I think I was a lot more nervous when we were doing it back as a different band in like 2015 2016 because at that point we had gone to Dream House, and like that was a full on like Persian rugs, like it's like a brownstone, like beautiful Victorian home, and I was like, 19 years young, like I don't belong here. So I think I got the jitters out then, but it was fun. It was funny, like looking out the window after recording a song and then just like looking for reactions and seeing like how that felt, and Sean's just passed out on the couch. I see like Lucas's thumbs up from like the side of the window. I'm like, okay, that's good. I can go home now. But it's always a fun time.
I think on David and Susie's points on both of those, I think recording has chilled out over the years. Just in general, I think things chill out as you get older. Susie brought up when we were 19 recording and working on that. I think we had like a lot of ideas then, at least for me, that I didn't know how to properly articulate, especially musically. And there's a lot more frustrations back then. Nowadays, I still get worried when we record because there's a certain point where it all gets locked in and sent out into the world. And I'm not someone who likes to skip over the details. And I get a little worried and stressed out and insecure during that process, and whether I'm making mistakes or things can be better or if not enough is being done. But I think the vibe of everyone else just makes it so much better and just brings me down to where I need to be to actually mix and record parts. Sorry to end on a more thing note, but
I think just to add to us gelling, like it really, and Jacob had touched on this earlier, but I think it really turned out to be the best case scenario with everybody involved. Like I had asked Sean, and then he like thought about it for a day, and he was like, "Yep, down." He was in this practice room like a week after, and then Amani, we asked you, I think in like April or something, and then you were in the band photos in May. It was so fast.
Like 2 months before our first show.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we managed to pull it together. I think the shared love for the pee and poo jokes potentially did the trick. Brought forth by Amani. But yeah, it's always a blast.
I think something really important to bring up is back when we started this, like Spring Colors, we were in TMU's like study hall or something in 2019. Like the three of us, Lucas, David, and I, not doing music, and we had done music for like 2 years at that point together. And we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, we want to do something. Like, we need to do something because this is what we do. You know, like we make music and we make music together. And I think because of the way that the band before that ended, we wanted to be hypercritical of like really just respecting each other and like giving a lot of space for like ideas and making sure that like we're not being hypercritical and making sure that we're like just creating a welcoming space, I think was really important. And I think bringing in Sean first really helped that because we started on that note. We were like, Sean, this is the place for you to mess up. This is the place for you to like, you know, do whatever you want to do. You have as much of a voice as we do. Like, we were super, super like clear on that to him and open about it. And then once Amani came in, it was like the exact same thing, you know, like give yourself time, give yourself the space. Like, you have all the time in the world to get these parts down. I think you were more critical on yourself than any of us ever were. But yeah, I think it was really important for us to just like take a step back and be like, okay, we were young, we were stupid. Let's try and do this intentionally. Let's try and do this with like a lot of respect for each other, because we all respect each other. We all love each other in this room, right? And I think sometimes when it gets into the crunch time, we forget that, and it can get a little hectic. At least it did before. I mean, this time around, it's been super chill. Like, everything has been really, really like loosey goosey and like super easy to handle, I think.
Yeah. Y'all seem to have, I mean, it's really obvious that there's respect and friendship, which is great to see, because sometimes I've seen bands that are bands because they can make music together, and the life of that does not last long.
Yeah, I think there is like, I just look like objectively at the things that we've done. Like we've now done shows where before like technical errors or mistakes would just like derail everything, and we'd be like so angsty and weird about it. But now we are like this, the last show, like Susie, I was able to go and just like crack jokes with you in between songs. We could never do that before, like absolutely not allowed. Or same with the fact that like when I started moving and doing frustrating like life things. Like I told them, I was like, you like this is dumb, like, but I need to go do this thing. Like you can kick me out. And they're like, no, like as long as you're fine with like writing and like doing whatever, like there's still a space for you. And had this been the pre-band, like Jesus Christ, like if one of us like went on vacation for a little bit, we'd be weird at each other. Or I think even like the idea of there being multiple ideas people was impossible. Like it was like we have like one idea and like everyone can work on your parts, but everyone then gets to be critical of the parts that you write. And then, like everyone, but I think it just came from like Lucas was saying before with writing, like everyone had such like firm ideas, but not the like both the verbal vocabulary, but I think also like music vocabulary to like express them in like healthy ways, and like taking time away and like being, I think, like more free and loose with it was good. Also having 6 people, you can like diffuse responsibility so much easier, like, which is so great. Cause like, yeah, I can write songs and I can like drive gear, but I don't want to fucking touch social media with a 10-foot pole. Like that, I don't want to do that. But there's other people in the band who are so good at it and can do that, and it's sick.
I wish there was another schedule for Launch Person. Genuinely. It's just me.
Yeah.
Everybody but Dave. How'd you feel when Dave was traveling Canada?
I had only heard about Dave in legends and in stories, because I joined probably soon after Dave went for the summer season or whatever last year. So I had only heard tales of him. And then when I met him, it was like, I don't know. I didn't even know. I couldn't even believe he was real, you know?
I saw him every summer and had that feeling.
My first time meeting Dave was in this room. I think we were in the middle of a practice and you were late.
It was day before the first show, right?
Yeah, it was like right
Oh my gosh.
yeah. You had just gotten dumped. And then he came halfway through. I was dressed up though. Yeah, he was dressed up. He was well dressed. He had just gotten dumped. He came in halfway through practice. And I remember like the first song where he starts yelling, and I did one of those like, because I like had just like practiced for like a couple of months, I guess, without any yelling, or like without any Dave yelling. And then it was just like, oh man, like this is actually so fun. And then that was it. That was when I first met you. Prior to that, it was just like we would get a picture sometimes of Dave in the woods in the group chat, and that was it. That was like my previous notion of Dave.
We were friends on Instagram together.
Is it my turn to be angry at David? No, I mean,
it's hard to be angry at David, so take it when you can.
It was really frustrating, right? Like I'm not gonna fuck around. Like it was super frustrating, especially in the early times, like when we were trying to get stuff done, and then like David could only be messaging from Vancouver, right? Like we couldn't get him in to drop a bass line. We couldn't get him in. Like we had to schedule you to fly in to do your vocals or something like that. Remember that?
Oh, I did it when I came home for Christmas.
Exactly. Like we had to find a space when he was going to be here to get the thing done, and that's way less chill than what we were just talking about of like, people being able to have all the time in the world. Like it was then or never, right? Like he had to nail those parts, and that was really stressful, I think, in the beginning. But like at the same time, it was your life, like that those were the choices you made, and like you wanted to be there, right? So like you can't be mad at your friend for that. It's just like it's frustrating in the perspective of the band, right? Because I think all of us, Lucas, David, and I, we wanted to get stuff done. We wanted to like put stuff out and really start this new kind of era off strong. And it was like, well, shit, we can't do anything until he gets back, or until like this specific date happens, kind of thing. So that was super frustrating, but that hasn't happened for a while. I mean, you've been around and things have been good. So we'll see next time he takes a vacation.
He's here to stay.
Yeah, we live in the same city now.
All things considered, though, like on top of Dave just having to fly back and forth and being so far away, I don't think any of us had ever had an inkling of doubt of Dave's commitment to the band. So it was like objectively frustrating, just because locationally we're in different places, but we always kept the faith, man. And he returned. The prodigal son returned.
To do my bit parts and yell.
The frustration really dissipated once Sean joined. At least I feel, because there's a big question of like, okay, but who's going to do bass? And then we're like, okay, we'll just ask someone else. And then it was kind of fine from there, because I think we all wanted to play live. But obviously knew without a bass player, there's no way of doing it. But at least personally, like, yeah, kind of like what Susie and Jacob said, it's objectively frustrating having to schedule in or wait a couple weeks to a month to record something that is ready to get done and letting things sit as they are. But we also David told us straight up, said, hey, if it's too frustrating for you, then you can kick me out. You do what you need to do. So it was always fine, I think, also at the same time. And at least personally, I think that just gave me the space to just direct recording efforts and writing efforts in other places, which was also very fulfilling, and also really tamed down the pressure on writing music in Spring Colors, just knowing that I had a place where if I wanted to do all my ideas, I can do it there and then share this with everyone else, however they come. Or do not come. David. I don't do not come.
Whoa! It's a family-friendly podcast. You're gonna mess with the sponsorship
No, it's
opportunities.
not. We're explicit.
I'd be cussing.
All right. So I made this complaint to Dave like 2 days ago. As a band, y'all have your socials on fucking lockdown. I could not learn anything about any of you. Some of these names are not
You mean
English.
personal socials?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Spring Colors is fine. I can't
Yeah,
make
because we're young
individual questions for
professionals.
you.
That's literally not true. I'm always on the internet. I'm always posting on my
We
story.
should
You're
I'm
the
not private
exception.
either. I'm
You
public.
are the exception. I was able to
Okay,
find
perfect.
a little bit.
We should do
out.
Secret Santa PI and see how much information we can dig on each other.
What do you want to know about us?
Outside of Spring Colors, what are y'all doing?
Oh, big question. Can you reword it?
What are some other things you do outside of play music?
I don't know. What do? I watch movies. I really like watching movies, and then since now that we're talking about social media, I really like watching movies and then rating them on Letterboxd and making funny reviews and posting them on my Instagram. And then what else do I do? Work.
You make a meme.
Oh yeah, I work part-time at a coffee shop in like Queen West area.
Okay.
And Queen West area, I won't tell you where. And I really like to get fun, weird, pretty much anything. It started off with fun, weird sodas, mostly different types of Mountain Dews, and make lattes out of them.
Oh.
And then just force people to try them and be like, you see, it's good. And then when I kind of ventured out into like just anything that is kind of slightly a liquid, I'll make it into a latte. Like, you know, those like really fiery hot ramen packs? I made one out of the like sauce pack. It
Okay.
was insane. It was pretty good. So that's what I like to do, I guess.
I can't say anything about food like that. I tried beef fizz once, and that was an experience.
What's beef fizz?
What is beef fizz? It is a combination
Wait, hold on. Is
of
it
beef.
B? Is it B or
Beef.
beef? Beef with an F.
Like, yeah, with the meat.
Beef fizz?
Beef fizz.
Go on.
Oh, it is a combination of beef concentrate and 7-Up.
Oh.
Latte.
It's like,
It's like brothy, right? It's high in collagen?
yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, it's healthy.
I say
Uh,
Amani's is going to be hard to follow up.
Yeah, There's a recording of me like dying somewhere out there on my friend's Twitch channel as I drink this very thick 7-Up beef flavored thing.
Plug it
So,
in the chat.
I mean, you can make it into a latte, but like, I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Let's
Speaking
pull
of,
that up on the pod.
Speaking
we
of
do-
disgusting
can we do
things, Have you guys ever heard of Pilk?
Yeah.
Pepsi and milk?
Oh,
That's fucking nasty.
It's also Lindsay Lohan's in the commercial. I really like her. I really like her.
There's a commercial for Pilk.
Yep.
Pull it up on the pod.
Yeah, pull it up.
Pull it up. What else do we do? I mostly like hobbies. I mostly just I do a lot of music. I do this. I play in a hardcore band. That's pretty fun. We're called 100 Knives, not 100. 100 Knives. Trying to get a band off the ground. I'm going to put this in here so I can pressure the person in 100 Knives to help me get started. I want to start a band called Government Weed because it's the best band name ever. I play music. Like Amani, I consume a lot of media. I haven't got on Letterboxd yet. I'm on Goodreads though. We can plug that in the chat. And I currently work in the not-for-profit sector, and I'm looking to make moves. So hey, if you got any not-for-profit listeners out there who have jobs, hit me up.
It's a
Most-
networking
I think
opportunity for Dave.
5% of my audience is from the States, so. Yeah, guy.
He's open
I'm
to
sorry.
international work.
We're about to record. David can leave for a bit.
To the States. What do I do? I guess aside from music, I am a dancer of sorts. I'm in a few dance crews in Toronto. Shout out Moxie Dance Crew. Shout out S101 Dance Crew. So a lot of music stuff generally. I find actually musicality helps in both of my hobbies. I play a lot of video games. I have like 800 hours in Tears of the Kingdom and Animal Crossing. Not to flex on anybody, but each, so it's pretty crazy.
wow.
And and my latest hyperfixation is collecting figurines. I'm really into Sunny Angels right now. So if there are any Sunny Angel girlies in the chat, I have a few up for trade. So yeah, they're just Google Sunny Angel. It's kind of polarizing. I think they're very cute. They're double cheeked up.
Unfortunately, I don't collect Sunny Angels. I wish that I could, do a nice segue there. I do, however, play a shit ton of video games. I just hit 800 hours in Destiny, and I started playing in August. So, yeah. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, I just got a dog in February, so he takes up a lot of my time. He's a little shit. His name is Walnut. He's an Aussie doodle. He's very cute, but
Awesome.
sometimes
I got a
he's not
dog
so
last
cute.
year, and her name's Maple. So.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Also,
I mean, other than
one
that,
of the best
like,
donuts Tim Horton doesn't sell anymore.
yeah.
Wait, do they don't sell maple dip? Is that what you're saying?
No, maple walnut. It's old.
Oh. I've been having the hardest time finding any jelly-filled donuts at Tim Hortons lately. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm pissed about it too.
That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. And yet they have like cinnamon apple bread twists or some shit. Yeah.
They have rice bowls.
They have like teriyaki bowls now. Yeah. They've lost their way. Bring back the jelly donut. Oh, let's go.
For all your American listeners.
Yeah, I've been in school forever. That's the other thing I was gonna say. So yeah, that's kind of it. I think.
I guess I don't do too much stuff. I do mostly the band. I was in boxing, but I had a career-ending injury. So I'm taking a bit of a break. I'm taking a bit of a break
Sean,
on
I
that.
thought we were about to relate because that's what happened to me.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I dislocated my knee in the arena.
Oh, shit. Oh, that sounds gnarly. I got punched in the head pretty good, so...
As
Yes.
what happens in boxing.
It's just...
You should have seen the other guys. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, yeah,
He got booed at a show.
yeah.
He
so-
wasn't
Really?
there, but
Yeah, I'll never forgive him. So otherwise, I play video games too. I am playing Final Fantasy 16 right now. There's even more. And then I'm going to play Armored Core 6. And then I'm going to
Whoa.
play Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's pretty much most of the stuff that I do. Yeah, that's...
I just do music, so if I lose this, I'm fucked. I have nothing after this. I apart from I do this and then I just jump between this and just solo stuff and wash dishes when I get home. So once music goes, it's just washing dishes.
you
for me.
grocery shop too.
Not even like to get paid, just because it needs to get done.
He also takes naps with his hands in his pockets.
He
That
also
is
will
the
just find
craziest
any.
shit I've heard all night.
He'll also just find anything that's around in the room and just like throw it around and like play with it and like twist it. And
I don't
whatever.
need video games. I need just objects.
Yo, if fidget toy companies are looking for sponsorship opportunities, let me tell you.
Well, Renee
I'm an
actually told me that
educational
she.
assistant. I have things for you, Lucas.
Renee told me that she bought you a fidget
And
toy
it didn't
for
work.
Christmas last year and you didn't even use it.
It didn't work. It didn't work. It's the taboo nature of fidgeting that
He
makes
still
it great.
fidgeted.
The taboo nature.
I have one in here somewhere that I'm constantly failing with, and it's like 12 blocks connected by a string, and it's the best thing ever.
Oh. That sounds so good.
That shit goes hard.
I've lost it, but that's all right.
I have this one gray hair I just pulled out that I keep playing with.
Can I have that? Oh.
You can't see it on camera, but it's really long. My own head. What the hell do you mean who? Who did you pull that out of?
Who did you?
We all got some good locks in this band. No one's balding.
We're over our hour point as we started recording. Oh, Susie, what's up?
Oh no, I was gonna ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it.
It's kind of
This
random,
is a
I guess, to
shocking
close it
twist,
out,
but
just because
yeah.
I know we're going to time. But what is your favorite savory snack variety? Could be a chip or a cracker. And how do you store it, assuming you don't eat it in one sitting? Like, if it's like a bag of something, do you like use gravity to like put the items in the bag on top of the open bag part to close it? Like, are you like a I need a clip kind of guy? Are you like a who cares kind of guy? I think it says
Okay.
a lot about a person.
So at Costco, there is a type of chip called Cape Cod chips. They are the crunchiest things on the planet.
What's their flavor?
I love Cape Cod chips.
Regular. They're delicious. But you can only have a couple or else your teeth start to hurt.
What's their flavor though?
Just regular, just plain.
Oh,
There's salt.
okay.
It's
Oh,
it's
okay,
really
got it,
just an
got it.
excuse to have salt.
Sick.
As for what I use to store it, this is the most ridiculous shit I have to say and admit. Do you know what a banoodle is?
A noodleist?
A banoodle.
Are you allowed to say that in public?
Beep beep.
I
Well-
think I
Now,
can say
guys.
that. I don't think you can say that.
You're gonna get put on a list.
It's a metal stick covered in plastic that's very flexible.
Oh, like a big twist tie kind of vibe.
Sort of.
Literally not.
Just
They
no,
had
I
some
guess no.
crazy advertisements at 3:00 in the morning on the shopping channel. I somehow came into a number of them, and they are all I use for my chips now.
Did you say that you somehow came into a number of them by purchasing them?
No, I didn't.
Well,
Somebody died. I was
explain.
given them.
Oh, sorry. Don't explain.
It's
No
not
more.
somebody I knew, though.
Okay, then do explain. Or will you get
it
in
was like
trouble if you explain?
A co-worker's
Bequeathed.
grandfather's friend, and they were in a box of china I was given.
Oh, nice. Am I
Yeah,
am I
I-
also allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, Dave, of course.
What's something that you're really proud of, but you don't get to talk about often?
Go off, King.
I don't know. I have an entire platform where I can talk about things where I'm proud of them.
But no, isn't it you always asking other people? This is a Spring Colors podcast now. We stumped
Yeah,
him,
but
so we
this
get
is
it.
I don't know, man. That's a hard question. Fuck. This is this is why I asked the questions. Fuck. I guess that I've got a pretty good handle on editing skills for audio. I don't know.
Okay.
I do this podcast by myself. It used to be like weekly. So networking.
Say?
Oh,
Yeah.
this used to be like a
Huge.
weekly thing, and now it's just whenever I find something I like because time.
Time is hard. And money.
Also, talking to people is hard. No one tells
Talking
you
to
that it's
people
hard.
is hard.
You know?
If you play in a band with 6 people, you always at least got 5 other people at the show and to hang out with. That's money
true.
moves I'm giving for free.
All right. I've got a couple more questions before you ask me more questions, though.
Please, we'll stop with our questions.
All right. No, that's okay. We can get back to that later.
Yeah, sorry. I thought we were ending it out.
No. We
No,
got time.
these are the questions before you end it out.
Good.
These are the
Hit us
important
with them.
ones. A lot of people who may be listening to this because they are in a band or they want to be part of a band or something like that. But other than just like the innate chemistry that y'all seem to have, what are some of the things that you think are like really important in ensuring cohesion and not pissing everybody else off?
Put away your ego. That's the most important thing. Like, that's top of the list, 100%.
I think we have also learned to just be like very openly communicative at all times. We have 2 different chats. One of them is kind of just for shit posting, but the other one is for like really actually making plans, and we have a shared calendar. And I think that like anytime anything does go wrong, we all kind of come together and we like talk about how we can do better or something like that. So I think just being communicative with each other and yeah, keeping an open mind about what we all want to kind of achieve, I guess, or what we all kind of want to do next. And yeah, and I think the ego thing too, for sure. Like if somebody has an idea and it doesn't pan out, then it's like none of us are gonna shit on them for it or anything like that, So
What I was feeling when I first started in this band was that I was just being really hard on myself. So it's kind of like the opposite of end of the spectrum of the like leave your ego at the door, which is also not be too hard on yourself inwardly, which is something that I can do often. And I just kind of like I'm too nervous to like tell the people that I'm with. And I think a big thing with these guys was I was able to tell them that I was nervous. I told Jacob and Lucas that, and there were 2 possible outcomes. One would be good, one would be bad. And I was lucky enough to get the good one, which was a very supportive response. And if it was a bad response, that's just kind of what you have to deal with. And you are then aware that this is not the thing for you. So it's like finding the cohesion is really important. And you have to be kind of honest with yourself, but also honest with the people that you're there with. Because if they're not supportive of you, then you're not going to want to be supportive of them. And then it's going to be this like toxic thing. And luckily, this is a very supportive group. And yeah, it just kind of, you just have to find your footing in that sense.
Thank you. That was very well said for the second time. No, that was good. My point from before, like objectively, I think learn more than one instrument. Like I was just saying, I've played with a lot of people who are very good at one instrument, but I think when it comes to like writing or sharing ideas, the more you can like build on that perspective, the easier it gets. Like most people in this band, I think can at least like, dabble in like other instruments or like have a general idea, which I think is helpful. Or if not instruments, like vocals, right? Like that's something. And I think the other is just like beyond being nice to the people you're with, like being nice to everyone else you meet. Like if you want to do shows, like, and it's not, I think people feel like the need to be like very outwardly friendly. And if that's not your vibe, that's fine. But the bare minimum is like be kind and like be supportive to like other bands, to promoters, to people who are coming out. Because like that truthfully is like that's how you build a scene and that's how you do any of it. And I think the more you can do for self, like in terms of like DIY of like playing instruments, recording, making those connections, like making friends with people, like one, it builds a sense of community, and two, it makes it like a lot more fun. Like with my other band, we played in Barrie, Ontario last week, which like for those who don't know, the American listeners, is like a pretty small city. And it was a Thursday night, and like 60 people came out, had never heard of any of the bands. There was just like one person who built a lot of goodwill there being like, yo, this is going to be a really cool event, come out. And like that's how that happens, by I think being kind to people and being nice to like every single participant in it, because like anyone can be in a band. And I think if you want a shot at it, you need to remember that like this is for everybody and can be for anybody.
Yeah. Last question, and you can all answer this as much as you want or as little as you want. What drives you to create in the music space? Yeah, big question. I just saw faces drop, so.
I haven't done too much creating of music yet, but I just really wanted to play shows. It just always looked so I went to a lot of shows, and you know, I've been playing bass just like in my bedroom for like a decade, and I did some stuff in high school that was really fun. So I just really wanted to, when Susie asked me to join the band, I was just excited to play some shows. And now that that's happening, I think it's so fun, and just seeing people like support us and like cheer when It'll All End in Ellipsis comes on and stuff like that, like, is so awesome. So like that was kind of the main thing that I've been getting out of it. And I think anything from here on out is just kind of, it's just hanging out with friends really and just making cool stuff, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I was at too. I was in a couple of bands with a bunch of my best friends before COVID happened, and then everybody moved away and whatever. And so since then, I've just kind of missed that weekly getting together with the same people and like, you know, fucking around with like new music and whatever, whether or not I was creating it or not. And I think I was really in that space of wanting that again. And then when these guys asked me to join, it kind of like synced up perfectly. So I think like I'm excited to start getting back into that flow, and then also going further with it and like learning more from them and stuff. Yeah.
I try to find a way to like say this that doesn't make me sound like a pretentious prick. So that's why I'm giving this preamble. I think it's like
be a pretentious prick like that.
No, I just feel like as someone like music specifically, I think has been like very foundational to like who I am, as I like built a sense of self and like sense of identity. And it's like a weird, sick obsession. Like when I write music, like I can't stop. Like I feel like I need to like, yeah, like what Susie's doing. But then I'll write like 6 songs for like a joke band that doesn't exist. And then I won't touch an instrument for like several months because I'm like, okay, I got that out of my system. I'm good. And I feel there's like something in me that feels like I need to continue to do this. And that if I didn't do this, I would feel very unfulfilled. Like when I lived across the country, I obviously was like still contributing to like Spring Colors and to like some other things, but it was really just from a writing thing. But like there was a part of me that was very much missing. And then when I came back to Ontario, like there was this immediacy that like I need to do this again right away. And I did. And then again, like had to go away for the summer for work and then came back. And then since I've been back in September, it's like all I've done. And it feels like so rewarding and so nice. Yeah. So I think that weird, like, my roommates jokingly call it sick fuck determination. My sick fuck determination is what keeps me going. It goes with music, and it sometimes goes with building IKEA furniture. I can't stop right away.
That's a good one to have, though.
Yeah.
Like, whoever is in the same space as you is like, okay, David's doing his weird sick fuck thing.
Watch out!
So they don't have to build IKEA furniture. He's out of control. He's crazy. I'm just gonna ditto what everybody else. No, I think for me, like we never even when we started like in high school way back in the day, like it was never for any monetary gain or, you know, for fame and all that stuff. Like I think we just really enjoy each other's company, and we just happen to make music that is good, and that's a fact. So there's also like an energy that comes from being on stage that I think is unmatched, and it's such a short time that we get to spend up there. And just to add to what David said before, like we have gotten to a point where we're comfortable enough to go up there and occasionally make the mistakes or slip up and still riff with each other. And like at the last show, Dave was he was dancing all over the stage. He had a little fumble, but he picked himself back up. But there was a moment where like he like fully fell on a cinder block. Yeah.
John saw it all on the first song. Yeah.
But I didn't notice. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, most of us didn't notice. But like we had a moment where we came back and we were kind of just like jamming for like 10 seconds, and like that's the shit I live for. You know, it's fun. It's always really, really fun. Maybe. It depends on the day.
I think for me it was the desire to create music kind of came from a place of wanting to get to know myself. I think if you talk to people who like to travel, they'll tell you how much seeing the world opens their eyes, and that is 100% true. But I also just found that kind of just sitting here on my ass making sounds and hearing what I like just excites me and makes me want to do it more. And then I feel like with every song I write, I feel like I've been able to just see a part of my mind that I don't think I've seen before. And then it kind of leads into David's sick fuck determination of just like wanting, once you get a kind of taste of it, wanting to see more and more from there.
Yeah, I think my answer probably echoes a lot of everyone else's answer. I'm here because of them. Like I wouldn't be here without these guys, right? Like I like creating, you know, I like coming up with little riffs and that kind of thing. But it's about the time that we're spending together. Like that's what I get out of it. And like I think in a different sense, like I'm kind of addicted to that loop of like putting stuff out, like finishing a song, doing a show. Like it's just so fulfilling to like start something, say, hey, we're going to do this, and then do it. Like that loop is so addicting for me. And like seeing how much we've grown as well, and like also hearing from other people being like, you guys like have found your sound, you know, you guys have developed as musicians, like this is all stuff that people have said to me, right? That like I never would have thought that we would have been there. Like I always thought we were just doing this because it was fun, you know, like, and I think there was a bit of that childish ambition, you know, like back when we were in high school or when we were 19, that kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you know, if we do the right thing, we'll make it big, you know, or like if we like put the right, I don't know, choruses in, like more people will like it. Like I definitely fell into that trap a little bit, but I think at this point it's literally just about spending time with these people and seeing what we can do, and what comes out, and usually it's pretty good, like Susie said.
We're good at what we do.
I'm gonna have an ego. I think we fucking rock.
You guys are great. I love Spring Colors. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you like Sprong colors?
I
Like
like
Sprong?
Sprong Colors. I like Capring Soars. As I accidentally fucked up and called it in my notes, I like Spring Colors. I didn't realize that I also made a typo until like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Spoink colors.
You just got
Yeah.
Sproing.
Yeah, I love it. I think that you're all great. You're doing some really cool stuff. I enjoy the music. I'm excited to see what comes next. So, where can people find out more about Spring Colors and catch up on where you're putting out stuff?
Probably our Instagram. Is it just Spring Colors Band. Is pretty much our whole
Not to be
handle.
confused with the color palette.
And if a lot of your listeners are American, there's a U in colors. That's
Great
Yes,
clarify.
Canada.
Yeah.
I think it's Spring Colors Band as well. We're consistent with it there. And then pretty much all of our updates, whether it's shows, releases, merch, anything, either shows up on Instagram or shows up on TikTok.
As always, audience, those links to lead you to Spring Colors and their Spotify page, for instance, that's going to be down in the description below. Go check
And
them
the
out.
beef drink.
Oh,
And the beef drink. Yeah, put that in there.
Yeah, let's get an
I will
affiliate
see
link.
if I can find it. It was. Was it?
Do you want a picture of
pre-COVID?
Jacob's dog too? We talked about him earlier. We could walnut in the chat.
Several pictures of my dog for sure.
We can just upload it to my Twitter or something like that, and just
Amani, your
no
letterbox too?
context.
Oh yeah, my letterboxd. I don't know. I think it's Amani.Sabri. I won't tell you how to spell any of that.
I'll figure it out. Go check them out. They're great. I genuinely love your music. Like when Loom came out, I listened to it like every other day. I'm not joking.
Oh, let's
It's
go.
so
Thank
good.
you.
It's so good.
For his American listeners, he's not lying. He sent me an Instagram message saying that, and you can find it down below in the chat. We're putting it in there too.
Jacob, Sean, Lucas, Susie, Amani, David. Did I get you all?
You did it.
Okay, fucking yeah. All of you, thank you so much for joining me this week. Audience, thank you so much for joining us. Spring Colors has already launched, so go check them out. And the various other things apparently I need to put in the description. Take care, everybody. Hope to see you somewhere out there.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much to David, Sean, Amani, Susie, Lucas, and Jacob for joining me on the show this week. Honestly, it was such a blast having them, and if we included all those little glitches and shit that happened, this would easily be the longest episode of Schedule for Launch I've ever recorded. I loved having them on, and would love for you all to go check out their stuff. They're a great group of people, and I can't wait to eventually make my way up to Toronto to see them live. Check the top link in the description to hear more about them. And thank you for listening, audience. With the new year coming up, I think I'm going to take the rest of the year off just to give some breathing space around the holidays, as a lot of the creators I've reached out to just don't have a whole lot of openings until after Christmas. So keep an ear out. Also, if you are following me on X, formerly Twitter, you'll probably notice that I'm not really posting there. I'm not. I've hard shifted over to Threads now. If you want to follow me there, I'd love to have you, and you can stay in the loop. That's everything from me, though. Have a safe holiday, and I hope you enjoy. It'll all end in by Spring Colors.
Three faces spun the best of me, a constant disassembling, weaved in the cloak of everything. It's a chasm threaded carefully, and what applies to me of everything that's looming underneath. I don't need to know for certain. I just wish to peer behind that curtain. This thread's bundled tightly and cut loose on five futures of subversive. Spent life staring at scars post suture.